Welcome to Tidbit Talkin. This is a series that consists of spewing out assorted thoughts which arose from somebody who thinks too much, taking in, and generally loving various entertainment media by the boatload. These tidbits may be little theories, observations, or simply jokes. Please bear in mind that all these ideas come from the perspective of somebody who's experienced every main story bit connected with whatever is currently being gone over. So spoilers will be here. However, other works set in a shared continuity will typically solely be referenced in a way that only makes sense to anybody who's also fully experienced those ones up until their same time occurring points. Sort of a coded nod kind of deal. Now, with all of that out of the way, here we go. In addition to those coded nod kind of deals, this video assumes you know this Superman's history, up through the point of Supergirl that preceded this series. So a little more, not so detailed spoilers there. Pilot. Superman's reminiscing during the opening is him coming to terms with how his seemingly old memories of a relatively long twin-filled domestic life were actually made solely from new events which only occurred post-crisis. Specifically, this is all him making sure that powerful psychic junk Martian Manhunter used to make his mind full of previous universe residency concerning hoopla doesn't become overly powerful and wind up erasing everything else. In other words, he's practicing an extreme self-affirming exercise. Jonathan's apparent early-age power display where he obliterated those rope fragments with a throw could be the result of thingy deals akin to his growing body being bothered by some sort of self-contained war physiological struggle crap involving Kryptonian cell development making attempts at overcoming its human counterpart. Jordan might have something similar going on, but with the genetics that work on how one handles stress and whatnot, instead of physical aptitude-related bits. Thus, he gradually starts displaying abilities once becoming more level-headed. The presence of multiple ELT machines, which are basically souped-up Jimmyals and signal watches, could very well be caused by Star Labs and other big tech companies being present alongside super folks, leading to some danger-declaring device mass production action after many people complain about a certain man's pal-related favoritism. Such societal future-invested corporations might have also helped him with new suit development over the years, especially those ones ran by friends. That OT Soups has been putting in must have something to do with making sure he was absolutely still familiar with the post-reset world after sorting out old one-related geographical information and whatever. Star Labs, at least during its same name-having museum phase from some years ago, or another closely hero-tied organization, might have negotiated with WB Games to produce this universe's version of Injustice. Clark probably learned how to precisely tilt vending machines like that as a teenager after getting fed up with his peers being distraught over their periodic lacks of sugary goodness. Edge-Row almost definitely knew that Clark getting fired would not only result in him moving to Smallville, but also Lois investigating the mines. However, he likely thought she wouldn't be so good at it, and be an ample target for blackmail threat-related stuff. Mr. Kent focuses so much on listening for heart problems that he never considers brain ones. This might have something to do with the thing producing much more noticeable sounds than their processing partner, thus running into them all ignoring difficult and whatnot. Anyway, not considering noggin neutralizing bizarre blood business would make his mother's death hit extra hard, because if he did think about such things, one of his super genius tech company-backed friends would have been able to pull off some miracle cure sorta nonsense. Jonathan recognizes 50 yards on sight because of football. Jordan knows because he's a math nerd and loves the metric system. The router is located up there in order to make sure only Clark fixes it, both because Mama Kent wanted her son home more often, and also since others sweeping around might result in Superman identity revealing crap being found. Sarah suddenly having an urge to take every single mother-owned pill might involve something along the lines of her being one among those terribly unlucky few who can, at least on some level, remember how this universe died and was reborn. Heritage. The kids being okay with their Smallville move may be because certain Superman stories which Clark shared after his big reveal might have been stuffed with not-so-subtle hints about how great living there is. He'd be very good at implanting ideas into people's heads after all, as such powerful presence sort of things are central to his whole mask-free secret identity maintaining technique. The Stranger not finding any kryptonite on this earth is because, on top of DoD folks taking a lot, as stated later, DEO people and bat-themed individuals scoop some up too. Morgan Tal would mine places beyond his bro's home turf, both for the sake of finding other kryptonite types and covering up his X-version focused operations by making it seem like normal business. Clark knows how much damage this officially unfamiliar foe can take because studying Batman's armor and the like has helped him decipher what kind of crap sufficiently decked out people can take before croaking occurs. Irons is comfortable sending his ship after civilians because he knows if this Kal-El actually is perfectly morally reprehensible like the version from more familiar otherworldly places, one or more of those additional heroes discovered on this earth through reconnaissance would show up and pull off some glorious, innocent-saving action. Jordan, still clearly growing in power at a steady pace despite his small solar energy stores, might have something to do with his human half making said sci-fi metabolism and whatnot into some other form of biochemical whatever. The perks of not being a wallflower. Clark frequently eaves-checking on his recently superness developing son is because he knows what it's like to get picked on during such an extremely atypical growing-up stage of life. Military drill enacting during football tryouts would be because Jordan was already going over such stuff he'd earlier at least heard about from Gramps in his head to help keep uncontrollable might stuff in check after those not-kissing-related party-ruining shenanigans from before. New model Papa Kent asking the boys about Lana's behavior isn't just because he's worried worried about his dear friend. The dude's also trying to assure them that he really has stopped super spying with those amazing ears of his. Clark's fortress training may have involved learning freeze breath control to such a degree that perfectly people-shaped shivering shells get formed around targets by absolutely chilling whatever air is immediately surrounding them. This exactness would make using such an ability on a foe who might not be capable of surviving direct icing over like Kryptonians much less risky. Haywire. The new history version of Supergirl Season 1's events must be what resulted in the Eradicator showing up during 2015. That is, those homeworld originating criminals she fought either unearthed the thing or already had it with them. The joke about Jordan being on Madden 21's cover might not entirely be a compliment. There could be some buried resentment still present regarding Sarah Smooch-Steele stuff going on that's being vented through the idea of people who grace said game's box, often winding up injured. Lois's confidence regarding her handling of Edge's shady business moves would be because she's had much experience dealing with such things that arose from Lex Luthor's bullcrap. On a related note, the Leslie Lar Aim creepshow comment Mrs. Lane Kent makes would stem from her getting a Mercy Graves-like vibe from said lady. That DoD school may have originally been founded after Justice Society research and revealed the metagene could be passed down to children. The best of Smallville. Lar and Rho must intentionally let at least some folks play powerful while not being possessed in order to perform maintenance and or upgrades on the Eradicator. Wouldn't want to risk losing fellow Kryptonians' consciousnesses when tuning things up, so the process can take 0.052% less time. Also, varying the circumstances of the mysterious disappearances that crop up around them would make things seem a fair bit more coincidental. In addition to Super Smell being a hard suppress because of how doing so might cause breathing problems, Clark would notice Jonathan's booze breath straight away because he's already delighting in festival found favorite snack scents when running into each other shenanigans ensue. Vile Half-Bro would never bother with Supergirl concerned crap because the dude's obsession with being Kal-El's only family must have caused some mental gymnastics that made her a mere failed clone or something in his mind. Lois's comment about things seeming like these boys were just born is also referring to how John Jones' pre-crisis memory restoration made at least her body feel like she solely carried one child who only came into the world about a year ago. Broken trust. The security fluke that let Tag escape was most likely them using meta-dampeners on humans who were altered to be at least partially Kryptonian. Anybody else like him must have not wanted to leave. Metropolis kids would be used to military defenses being present at high school football games because of all the crazy plans Lex Luthor would pull off. Among other assorted supervillainy, some upgraded power-restricting cuffs must have been sent from the DEO or Star Labs after they got an error report from that earlier exclusive Emancipation event. Endings are a pain, but all of you are fantastic. See ya.